The moment is here, you can stop your search. It's Comics by Perch.
Hey everybody, this is Perch. How's everybody doing? Back kind of making new videos again, done 2 or 3. Lots stacked up, burned through a bunch of the archive while dealing with personal stuff. So thank you for everybody for your patience. And yes, I'm sure there's problems with the audio. I'm sure there's missing words. I'm sure a lot of that stuff is true. And, the show went on for what it's worth. And it means something to me, maybe not for everybody, but it means something for me. So the show went on. Also, yeah, I mean, at this point, the complaints are starting to get a little overwhelming. I do have to do something about the comment section. Look, I understand it's a bit, but it's becoming a mess. So that's just going to have to somehow ease up or sort of find some other new person to troll. Yeah, we're coming to it. But let's talk about something happier here. Comics being reviewed. So it says, hey, Perch, I hope life is treating you well. Not really. I remember a while ago, you were talking about the industry needing more people to review comics who aren't in it for the free comps and need to stay in the good graces of a publisher. There are 3 to 4 YouTubers I follow who do this successfully, I believe. I also have Twitter friends that share their honest thoughts. I do the same. Most of us like comics and read stuff we enjoy, but we can be critical when there's a bad issue or run. Thing is, we usually don't go on reading titles that don't work for us. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. So this means plenty of books don't get reviewed. We pay out of wallet, obviously, so it's hard to review much. Most of us aren't looking to reach more than ourselves, as we're just comic readers, collectors. Which I guess brings me to my question. How does one become an independent reviewer, if one had wanted to do that? Other than spending years, hopefully, building up a following, what's the best way to have more people spreading the word of worthwhile comics? Take care and safe travels. Thank you for the well wishes. Look, I think the challenge you have here is comic reviews aren't popular, just as a general statement. Not a lot of people in mass read them because the reality of it is if you're really into comics, you won't necessarily read a review. You're going to just buy the comic yourself and read it because that's what you enjoy. You could do something. There could be a site like a Rotten Tomatoes that kind of, crowdfunds or outsources a bunch of different reviews of comics and you could get a rating there. That'd probably be pretty interesting to kind of create and build, but then that would be about the site, kind of the Rotten Tomatoes site versus the independent reviewer. The challenge is like even the people who are getting the free comps from the publisher and are getting some level of kind of support. I mean, you look at places like CBR and Newsarama. I don't even think Newsarama does really reviews anymore. They used to, and they dialed them back. They don't get involved. And why? Well, because they didn't generate money and clicks, quite frankly. They weren't terribly interesting to a lot of the viewers. And so, those sites are built on kind of a click model where, they need that attention and they need those eyeballs in order to make money. And if they don't have that, they don't. So, I think for, if you want to become an independent reviewer, I think the question is why? What are you in it for? Are you in it just to kind of get the word out on comics? If so, that's cool. And you can do that pretty easily, but don't expect much of a following. Quite bluntly, I wouldn't expect much. You could probably reach out to one of the news sites, but I'm not sure which. I mean, the Beat's not going to take it. Bleeding Cool won't take it. The other fan sites are going to need to be glowingly positive about the books they like. IGN, CBR, Newsarama, those sites are not going to take it either. There are some independent sites out there. If you just started writing reviews, you'd at least get their audience in there. But the challenge is, you're not going to be bringing something that gets a lot of attention. And if you're ever critical about a book at all, then a lot of the sites, the mainstream sites, won't want to carry it for fear of kind of losing out on their money from both the publishers and the free comics and passes into conferences and other things. I mean, quite frankly, I know. Marvel threatened one of the news sites who had posted a couple critical things with not giving them passes and access at one of the cons. And the site immediately complied because it was worth more to them to have that access than to, have an article or two that was kind of mildly critical of the publisher. And that's just, unfortunately, that's kind of how the game works today. That's the nature of it. So the best thing you want to do if you want to become an independent reviewer is just start, form your YouTube channel, get your Substack, whatever it happens to be, to host the reviews, and go for it. But know that for a period of time, and maybe a very long period of time, the person you're doing it for is you, just you. It's not going to get a lot of attention, and it's probably not going to get heavy promotion. So that's just kind of that's the nature of what it is. So I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Unfortunately, it's kind of a bad situation for reviewers out there, and you probably have more luck reviewing runs or longer things if you want to actually kind of get in that business. But by and large, that's just kind of where the comic industry is at right now. I mentioned earlier, but I do think a site like a Rotten Tomatoes or something like that for comics would be potentially interesting, because then you basically have a kind of a landing page for a number of things, and that may be your best bet to do that. If you do get that kind of overall kind of landing site, then a number of people can come in and do reviews, and then you got a bunch of people going to a destination to try and get even shorter reviews, paragraph reviews, not classical like multi-paragraph big complex reviews, but just simple things would probably be an interesting idea. But I don't know. I mean, I throw it out to the audience here listening to this video right now. Do you want reviews? Would you pay attention to them? Would you listen to them? One thing I'd like you to notice is this video that I'm doing right now is not likely to get heavy traffic. Not unless I come up with some spicy title. I won't do that for this one. But, look at how many people love the sales analysis videos I do. But quite frankly, they're some of the lowest hit, videos on the site. Unless I'm taking the piss out of Miss Marvel or Captain Marvel, most of those sales analysis do poorly. Even though people say they love them, even though they're the more researched ones, the ones that have more data, they don't do well. And that's because the attention isn't going to be on stuff like that or stuff like reviews. Now, if, you can make a whole gimmick out of it. You could do a site where you just roast comics, and that will get some views. But then you're not really being a reviewing site. You're being more of a, it's more of a comedy bit. So this all sounds very negative. I think that what you have now, if you enjoy it, if a bunch of friends and you kind of get together and you post up reviews and comments on comics, and it's what you like, and it's interesting to you, and you are fulfilled, then you're probably doing the right thing now. And just keep doing it over time. You will build up a little bit of an audience, and that may be the best thing you got. And if you're having fun, hell, there's nothing wrong with that. It's pretty good. Anyway, that's my half-hearted advice, and good luck on that. And thanks for listening.